I was going through some footage recently when I realized that I've been a full-time nomad on the road for 5 years. And I know a lot of you wonder what that's like. So today, I'm going to show you a week in my life. Happy Sunday, everybody. It's Robin with Creativity RV. I hope you're all doing well out there. I am doing great. I am in a beautiful place in the mountains, but recently I traveled with some nomad friends who are all full-timers, and we saw some amazing places that I never would have seen had I not been living this life. And so I wanted to show you some of it. Every once in a while, I get together with some friends. In this case, it was my friend Peggy, who travels in a van, and I met her at the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous when I was only on the road for about 6 months, and we've traveled together on and off since then. And my friends Robin and Eric from the channel Wonder Boom, who travel in a really sweet converted shuttle bus. And if you want to know what it's really like, it just got cold, so I'm going to run inside. That's better. One thing about being a nomad is you just have to roll with the punches when it comes to the weather, like I did on my recent trip with my friends. One of the cool things about being a nomad is that you meet people, and if you're going the same way, you can go and travel and see things together, or you can split off and be on your own. It turns out that we were all going kind of towards the Texas area, so we met up first in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Now, I'll tell you that Ken Burns just changed my life recently because I watched the Ken Burns documentary on the national parks, and now I'm on a mission from God to see all the national parks. So White Sands National Park was just about 40 minutes away from where we were, so we all piled up in Peggy's van and we went down and saw the park.
White Sands!
Wow. Yep. Okay, so my friend Peggy just got her cutting board. We're going to see if we can slide our butts down here on the cutting board. Crazy. Go, Peggy, go, 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 go. This is the workout. You're going to work off that Mexican food. You got this.
I got this.
It's mountain climbing.
Oh. This is gypsum, not actually sand. It feels good. That was super fun. Well, the next day we were going to get up and go on our way, and we woke up and I think it was 13 degrees outside. It was so cold. It is cold out there. In fact, it was so cold that I couldn't dump my tanks. I couldn't even get the little levers to pull out. So we just started driving. Peggy and I head out first, and we went through El Paso and then all the way down into West Texas along the Mexican border. I think the drive was about 4.5 hours to our next destination. Now, I had never been into Texas, except for when I flew into Austin a couple of years ago to do my TED Talk. The link for that is down below if you want to see it. But I had never driven through Texas or West Texas, and I'm telling you, it was just miles and miles and miles of nothing. And then Border Patrol. Now, if you're one of those people that's nervous about going through Border Patrol for one reason or another, I've never actually been stopped or searched. They always just wave me through and I go back on my way. And then I drove miles and miles and miles and looked up in the sky, and I saw this weird white thing from a distance that was really tiny. And I kept driving and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. And honestly, it looked like a UFO. I was like, what is that thing? Well, it turns out that it was the border blimp. I had no idea. Kept driving and driving and driving so close to the Mexican border that I got 3 pop-ups on my phone from Verizon saying, "Welcome to Mexico." So I had to make sure that I didn't get any data charges because the closest cell tower to where I was probably across the border. And then we were driving, and I saw something really weird on the side of the road. And I pulled over, and Peggy pulled over behind me, and we flipped around, and sure enough, it was Prada Marfa. Now, Marfa was our next destination, and if you've never heard of it, it's been on my bucket list for a really long time. It's a really cool little West Texas town that has become kind of a hotspot for artists. So along the road, with no preamble, no people there, no guide, no nothing, there is a replica of a Prada store. And you can see here that it's just a square building in the middle of nowhere. And in the back, there's a fence where people put little love locks. And on the inside, you can see there are shoes and bags, just like a regular Prada store. It's just an art installation, right? A little wacky. Well, be prepared if you go to Marfa because you're going to see lots of other stuff just like that. Now, there's not a lot of great places to camp near Marfa. We would have had to go pretty far away. So through Hip Camp, I found a place to stay overnight at El Cosmico, which I told you guys about in a recent video that I will link up here for you if you want to see it. But El Cosmico is not an RV park. It's not a hotel. What they have are all of these really cool, hip, refurbished trailers and tiny houses and teepees and yurts. And they all have outdoor showers and little patios, and there's lots of venues for music. And I guess it's really, really hopping in the summer. But we were there before then, and it was frankly a little bit too cold. We were all really excited to see the town of Marfa. Let me tell you why. The movie Giant was made there. You know, the one with Rock Hudson and James Dean and Elizabeth Taylor. And all those people went down into Marfa and stayed at a local hotel called the Hotel Paisano, which we checked out. And you can see here, it's just this really cool old hotel. But the best part is that inside they have all of these original, authentic photos of the stars just hanging out around Marfa. Hi, honey, what's your name? Come around here often? Get in the car, I'm a friend of your mother's. By the way, James Dean actually died before that movie came out, and people thought that it was a scam that he was going to pop up at the premiere, but no, he died in that car crash while the movie was still in post-production. We got our fix of the El Paisano and had some breakfast at Marfa Burrito, which we hear is Matthew McConaughey's favorite, according to my guidebook. And then we went to see the rest of the town. After the movie Giant was filmed, the town kind of went back and became just like a dusty ranching town. But then in the 70s, a well-known minimalist artist came and set up there. And after that, it just became like a haven for artists. Everywhere you look in Marfa, there's some cool little art store or vintage store or restaurant. Everybody has art. It's like the grocery store, the liquor store, the sidewalk. There's art everywhere. On the other side of town, again, with no warning, there was a big pop-up of all of the characters from Giant on the side of the road. That was very cool. And there's just stuff everywhere to see that I never would have seen had I not been a nomad. If I were headed to the beach in Texas, which is where I was heading, I would have flown down there probably in an old life, but not this life. In this life, you get to go to the local restaurants and see the local people and learn how they live and see stuff that you never would see if you weren't on the road. Who are these crazy people? You're not coming to dinner with us, crazies. It's been 5 years on the road, and I'm not stopping anytime soon. I love it, and I'm going to show you guys some more of my travels in upcoming videos, including the beach camping, which went terribly wrong. Until then, I hope you guys are all doing well out there. Have happy travels and be free.